this regular meeting of the Southampton Town Trustees to order for July 13th at 1:03. Stand, please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Trustee Parsons, how about a roll call?
All right, President James Mack.
Here.
Matthew Parsons, present. Joseph McLaughlin.
Present.
Hannah Pello-Farrell.
Present.
And Sarah Topping.
Present.
You're all here, Mr. President.
Okay. Do we need to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the.
I'll second that.
July, what was it, June 20?
Yes. 26. Motion made by
Can I have a second?
Trustee McLaughlin, seconded by Trustee Parsons. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we'll go right into,
Actually, I'm going to make a motion to dispense with the communications.
I'll
great,
second
thank
that.
you. And then we'll go right into,
I need a second that.
and seconded, motion made by Trustee Parsons and seconded by Trustee McLaughlin. I got a mosquito bite. And we'll go right into
Board presentations.
discussions and presentations. We're starting with number one is the Long Island Invasive Species Management Area, the Long Pond.
Isn't the second one postponed, is that correct?
Is that right?
The
Oh.
second presentation, is that?
CPF is delayed.
Is CPF coming?
CPF.
okay,
They're here.
Oh.
We have LISMA first.
We have LISMA.
They're on
That's
Zoom.
going to be on Zoom.
Oh,
Oh, you
great.
said-
Wow.
Gotcha, huh?
Someone bit me. Are they ready for us on Zoom?
Kevin, do you have anybody on Zoom for a presentation?
What was that, sorry?
We have a presentation on Zoom from, Cassidy. Yeah, that's her. She needs to be let in, I guess, for a presentation.
Bringing them in now.
Thank you.
Cassidy, just as a reminder, we do have a strict 15-minute time limit, so we're going to set a timer for 12 minutes, and then we'll have 3 minutes for questions.
Hi, Cassidy.
Did you get all of that, Kathy?
Hello. Yes, thank you
Okay.
so much. How many minutes did you say? 8 minutes for presentation?
We'll do 12 minutes and then 3 minutes for questions, so 15 in total.
But if you can do it in 8, great.
Yeah. So that sounds good. Would you like me to share my screen, or I sent over the presentation, whatever's preferred for you
Screen
guys?
sharing, please, would be good, Cassidy. Thank you.
Absolutely. Mhm. All right, can you all see my screen?
We got it. Yep.
Yes.
Great, thank you so much. Yes, my name is Cassidy Robinson. I'm the Conservation Area Manager for the Long Island Invasive Species Management Area. Thank you so much for having me today. I'd like to speak on our ongoing work at the Long Pond Greenbelt doing aquatic invasive species management and provide an update for that. Also joined, I believe, who's watching today, our Program Manager, Abby Marino. We have 2 other permanent staff members, Melody Cerniglia, our Early Detection Rapid Response Manager, and our Education Outreach Manager, Cassandra Moise. And they all contribute to supporting this project. Long Island Invasive Species Management Area, or LISMA, is a partnership of organizations working together to reduce the threat of invasive species and restore local ecosystems. We're funded by the New York State Environmental Protection Fund, as administered by the state DEC, and we're hosted by the Long Island Native Plant Initiative. So within LISMA, we have several priority areas for conservation value, including 6 management complexes shown in orange here, and they surround our invasive species prevention zones. These are areas with relatively low invasive species abundance, little to no abundance, and they represent really high conservation value targets. We work to exclude invasive species from them and manage them where we can. And Long Pond Greenbelt is one of them. It's an invasive species prevention zone itself, and it's also included in a management complex around it to serve as a protective buffer. So Phragmites is an invasive plant, also known as common reed, occurring at Long Pond Greenbelt. It's also a threat to Ligony Brook, Long Pond, Crooked Pond, and it threatens rare ecosystems and species in these areas. The species it threatens specifically, there are 15 threatened or rare species in the vicinity, including globe-fruited seedbox, Atlantic bluet, lateral bluet damselfly, creeping St. John's wort, knotted spike rush, and several more. It also threatens many important native species as well, not just rare species. And this is one of the most biologically diverse areas in New York State with all these rare species and rare habitats. Crooked Pond, also in Long Pond Greenbelt, is very similar. So zoom in a little bit on the globe-fruited seed box, Ludwigia sphaerocarpa. This is a state-threatened species ranked S2 or critically imperiled in New York State. There are only 17 populations due to small fragmented habitat and various threats like invasive species. And the Long Pond population is described as the best in New York by the New York State Natural Heritage Program. And unfortunately, it does occur in the immediate path of Phragmites in Long Pond. So its protection and management is of utmost importance to us. So since 2021, LISMA has been managing the central Phragmites stand at Long Pond, shown in this photo here. There's other locations around the perimeter of the pond where Phragmites occurs, various densities, and has been treated since 2002 with various different methods by other organizations, including by mowing, digging, and herbicide treatment as well. In this banner here labeled Exotic Times, you can see how dense Phragmites can get. It can really displace native species, occupy a lot of space, change water and nutrient cycling, and just be an overall negative detriment to the ecological community. Although now this visible stand has been chemically treated. Back in 2002, it's no longer there, and it hosts native vegetation. So that's a really good success story in how management can be beneficial to the habitat. So our method, on the other hand, is underwater cutting on the Phragmites. We borrowed this technique from the Great Lakes Phragmites Collaborative that recognizes that this technique will cut off the Phragmites from its airflow and kind of suffocate it. We use this raspberry cane cutter tool and reach into the water and cut it below the water line, and it's suppressed and doesn't come back as strong in the next season. We've been doing this since 2021, working with various partners at Long Pond Greenbelt and the town of Southampton. So beginning in 2021, we had 910 stems removed. That was the total population of this central stand. And you can see it declining in future years down to 85 stems and 270 stems. That slight spike could be due to fluctuating water levels, or as the Phragmites is managed, it becomes stressed and sometimes puts out multiple stems per plant. And even though it's getting smaller, we have a higher count of stems. So overall, it's going from 910 stems, and in the last 2 years, we've seen only 10 stems and 8 stems. We're hoping this is due to successive management. It certainly appears that way. We'd like to continue this work to keep on that trend and potentially get down to 0 stems soon. So some other Phragmites management projects in our other coastal plain ponds, we typically target them populations less than 1,000 stems that pose a great risk to these rare ecosystems and their associated biodiversity. We've talked about the Long Pond underwater cutting, and also we use this technique at House Pond at Sears Bellows County Park. We do the underwater cutting there, and at Bellows Pond on the shoreline, we use a technique called spading, digging at the Phragmites at the base of the plant at a 45-degree angle to cut it off from its rhizome, depletes its energy, and removes its photosynthetic tissue. And at Long Pond, we've seen a 99% reduction since initiating management in 2021. Pretty strong success there, and 85% reduction in a 1-year follow-up at House Pond, as well as a 68% reduction and reduction in overall plant height, fitness, and overall vigor at the Bellows Pond site. So we're very pleased to see these preliminary successful results. Our action plan is to follow up monitoring and control, continuing our work at the center stand of Phragmites at Long Pond. We currently have a New York State DEC permit active until December 2026, and it's within our means to reapply for this permit as needed to continue. And today, we're requesting permission to continue manual cutting of Phragmites below the waterline at Long Pond, and to monitor for any other potential aquatic invasive species while we're there, and detect any new novel populations of Phragmites in the Long Pond Greek Belt. Continue working with partners, including the Trustees and the Friends of Long Pond Greenbelt. That's all I have. I'm happy to take any questions, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Cassidy. That was great.
Yes, thank you, Cassidy. And who, in the beginning, you showed that map of the various areas that you cover. Who determines that, and are you completely restricted to just those areas in these invasive species management programs?
Good question. This is the map you're referring to?
Yes.
Yes, so this is designated by LISMA in past years. My program involves the conservation areas of high concern on Long Island. My work doesn't necessarily strictly confine to these exact polygons. It's, more where we detect areas of, high biodiversity. There's some flexibility in that. This is mostly areas with rare species and rare ecosystems. But the prevention zones in purple, those are pre-designated and just kind of act as a guideline for us, not a strict rule.
And who funds all of the removals and like this whole program?
Mm-hmm. So LISMA is funded by the State Environmental Protection Fund. We have previous funding and a contract through the DEC that administers us. So our funding is already taken care of. We don't, collect any payment to implement projects such as this.
And do you ever look outside of those areas for ponds that are being overrun by an invasive species to consider being part of this program?
We do. We're open to considering that. It depends on a site-by-site basis, kind of what targets are there, whether there might be a rare species or something to that effect. If it's a coastal plain pond, that certainly might be of interest to us and within our means. It depends case by case. If there's a site you're wondering about, I'd be happy to hear about that as well.
Okay, great. Great. Well, I would like to discuss that with you at another time when we have more time. So that'd be great. This was wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
the
much.
Thank you.
presentation. We look forward, I'm sure we look forward to continuing this relationship, and
Yes.
we appreciate getting the education from you today.
Thank you for the
Right.
update.
Great.
Very
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Cassidy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right.
Moving on to Sarah.
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, now I have CPF and Jackie Fenlon
Jackie.
and GEI Consultants for Lakes and Ponds. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
Welcome.
Either way, if you want to come up.
You can come up
sit
here
and-
if you want,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can we plug the laptop in, or do you want to use the one you have?
The one that you emailed, James will pull up and then give you, I think we have a little button.
How are you guys?
Sorry, I think he sent me another one and I didn't send it to you.
Oh, do we have a sign-in sheet?
It's
Yes,
probably
it's
up at the podium.
Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you.
A pen?
Oh, I have pens.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for coming.
So these are our consultants from GEI. They are a lake management consulting company that community
Yes.
preservation, we sought a DC grant. We also provided CPF funding for that. And I think it was the fall of 24? 2023 it was announced, so we submitted and we were awarded the grant. So I have Luke Gervas here with us. And then Tara, Lara, I'm forgetting your...
Homie or
Last
that, it's a mouthful.
And so we were excited to collaborate, and when we saw the grant, we knew very good timing that we were
Yeah,
here
I've
with
been having
LISMA.
themed topics
I know,
today.
it was
so
very,
that's
Yeah.
Fit right
It was
in.
planned.
Yeah.
It's meant to be. But we've been working with GEI and we sought the grant, so we were able to hire GEI. So CPF ended up matching a grant. We acknowledge how fragile the coastal plain ponds are. And so when we saw that grant come out, we thought this was a good opportunity for at least a baseline report, and to get a lot of information all in one study to see if, and again, thankfully, LISMA is, it was here earlier, but right now it's a very healthy coastal plain pond. But I'll let Luke and Laura speak to the findings of their report. But I thought it was very important to have an introduction study. So if any management plans are considered, or any grants are considered, we could kind of use this as a stepping stone
Great.
to work on. So I'm just gonna continue filling this out and then I'll pass it on down. And I did want to also introduce Juliana Quant. She's our senior environmental analyst, so she has been shepherding the grant and been responding to the New York State DEC for status updates. Yes, so she's been a great help.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, good to get started?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all for having us. As Jackie said, my name is Luke Gervasi. I'm a certified lake manager with GEI Consultants, and I'm here with Lara Pomi-Urbot to give this presentation. So just a quick agenda and how we're going to kind of go through this and talk about it. Quick introduction as to who we are, just because I don't think any of us have ever met. So I always like to introduce our backgrounds in some degree. Talk about how this project came to be, as Jackie kind of alluded to with the grant through DEC. The methods and results that we conducted through the duration of the project, and then some of the brief recommendations that were put in the final management plan. One thing I want to say right off the jump, because Jackie alluded to it as well, having a lake management plan opens you up for additional funding in the future. So now having this document, once it is finalized, it's in draft form right now, but once it is finalized, it is very helpful to get additional funding down the road for any actual implementation. So my name's Luke. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Aquatics and Fisheries with a Master's in Lake Management from SUNY Oneonta. I spent some time hopping around between DEC, New Jersey's DEP, even actually worked with LISMA for a little bit prior to joining GEI, where I've been for about 7 years now.
And I'm Lara Pomi-Urbot. I did both my undergrad and grad degree at Stony Brook University. I started in private consulting, moved over to electric utility for a number of years, and then moved back to consulting, and I've been with GEI for about 2 years. I generally look at sites on a landscape scale. I consider myself a landscape ecologist, and look at the interaction of how the landscape affects specific sites. So between me and Luke, we try to look at systems, as a whole unique system. Right.
So just a little intro to GEI Consultants as well. As a group, Lara and I are both part of our ecological division, so we do a lot of stuff, involved with lake management, water quality, fisheries work, harmful algae blooms, nutrient loading. We also have expertise for general invasive species management, stuff that we work on, management plans in that regard, surveying. So some of the stuff that Cassidy actually showed was the survey work. We do a lot of that, or we'll find the things and report it to them so they could be alerted that it's there. Permitting, restoration design, and a number of other things down below that are up there too. Nature-based shorelines, so living shorelines and things of that nature. No pun intended. All right, so let's go over the project overview. The Community Preservation Fund, with assistance from us as well, writing a support letter, received the invasive species grant funding from DEC in 2024. It was funded under the Lake Management Planning and Implementation portion of the grant, and the reason for that being is that there were known locations of Phragmites, or common reed, within Long Pond, as well as another plant called variable leaf milfoil, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But to obviously get invasive species funding, you need invasive species present, as the DEC looks at it. Some of the things that we conducted while there, we completed a bathymetric map, so we got depths of the pond, both ponds, Little Long Pond and Long Pond. I should also mention that we were working on Little Long Pond, not just Long Pond. Doing a bathymetric map, doing repeated water quality assessments, whether it was during a visit or we actually put dissolved oxygen and temperature loggers in both of the ponds to track some of that info over time. Doing a full water body plant survey, public presentation, and then obviously completing the management plan. The graph you see up there is tracking phosphorus over time based on citizen-collected data and data collected by GEI, which is in the draft management plan here as well.
What, sorry to interrupt, what part of the plan are you guys in now? Or have you completed all these tasks?
The draft has been submitted, so,
Okay.
it's just being under review, and then it should be finalized within about
Oh,
a
great.
month or so.
All right.
And all these images, I would say, are in the plan as well. We could definitely provide them to you if you want.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So here's a bathymetric map of Little Long Pond. Pretty interesting. We kind of, if there is a laser. No, it doesn't work on the TV. There's one really deep spot in Little Long Pond, which I'm not going to go into limnology because it gets monotonous and boring if I go into it. But that's a unique thing for the pond, and it's good to have there. But the rest of the water body is relatively shallow with the one unique island in the middle. So that's kind of the, the circle in the middle that you see there. Long Pond is a little bit different. There's a lot of shallow areas, especially on the northern end, but there is that deeper area in the middle, which is advantageous because aquatic plants can never really grow in those depths. So it's important to know because then the entire water body won't be taken over by plants. This is information from the data loggers that we put in. They replaced a 0.5 meter off the bottom of both of the ponds. This is from Little Long Pond. The red line is temperature and the blue line is DO, or dissolved oxygen. And what this confirms is something that we see on a snapshot when we go on a daily basis, but this data was taken every 15 minutes by the data logger, showing that it's void of oxygen at the bottom from the middle of August to about the middle of October, which is significant when it comes to any sort of management techniques or nutrients that are being released into the water body. That's kind of the Cliff Notes version of that.
Can I ask, is this August of '24 through March of
This
25?
is August of 25 through March of 26.
Wow.
Good question. Long Pond, totally different. So again, if we go back to the depths here, Little Long Pond having that one deep point, it makes the actual abiotic factors really different as opposed to Long Pond, which is mixing constantly, has the DO dropping up and down throughout the day. Again, those data points were all taken at 15-minute intervals.
How deep is Little Long Pond?
Little Long Pond gets to about 19 feet deep,
Okay,
and Long Pond was about 12.
okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry for interrupting. I just
No, it's
feel
fine.
like I'm not going to remember these at the end.
So obviously, part of the project, there's a good amount of Phragmites there, as Cassidy kind of alluded to. I don't need to necessarily go into the plant and all the biology aspects of it. Cassidy kind of reviewed a lot of that too. But on that map there, those white polygons are areas where Phragmites was found, or the dots that you might see are spots where they were found as a part of our aquatic plant survey, which we also include that in the data. Variable leaf milfoil, this is where things get fun. This is a submerged aquatic plant that the New York State considers to be invasive. However, there are no native varieties of it that are native to Suffolk County and a couple other counties within New York State. Where this gets a little convoluted now is that to open yourself up to invasive species funding, you need an invasive species present. However, if this is a native variety of VLM, or the variable leaf milfoil, it confuses things a little bit and mucks it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So one of the recommendations we have is to actually do genetic testing to find out which one this is. Because in Long Pond itself, this is the densest spot of it right here. I know it could be tough to see in the photo, but all those little cattail looking things in the water, that's all VLM growing up to the surface. This is the densest it was in the pond at all together. When it's really behaving invasively, the entire water body will look like this instead of just one spot.
This is Little Long Pond?
This is Long Pond.
Long Pond.
So
Even if it's like the depths
Mhm.
or, oh, wow.
Yeah. I've seen ponds that are 100% covered with this plant, and it's been reported here for over 20 years. So it's been in this pond for a while, in Long Pond. It is not found in Little Long Pond at all.
Okay.
To go into some of the other details that Cassidy alluded to, Potamogeton pulcher, or the spotted pondweed, is a rare native plant in New York State. It is listed by the New York Natural Heritage Program as one of great conservation need. This is the only water body on Long Island I know of where it exists, and there is a lot of it in the pond. It was pretty frequent everywhere, and you could ID it by the black spots on the stem. Sometimes botanists like to be pretty to the point, sometimes they don't. Hydrocotyl emballata, it's another one that's a scientific name, but is creeping water pennywort.
Many-flowered marsh pennywort.
Many-flowered marsh pennywort. Not as easy as spotted pondweed, right? But this is another rare plant as designated by New York Natural Heritage Program, and the reason why we're singling out this one specifically, as Cassidy said with the marsh globe seed box, this one tends to coexist with Phragmites. So when we're looking at management techniques for frag, we want to make sure that we're not impacting this rare species here as well. So part of the work that we did, aside from the lake management and limnology aspect and writing the plan, was looking at rare, threatened, and endangered species in both of the ponds, which I'm going to hand off to Lara now to review.
Yeah, so historically, there were 25 listed plants and one amphibian, the tiger salamander. And this pond and the surrounding area really haven't been surveyed since, in some cases, the 90s. There might have been a couple of spots that were surveyed in the early 2000s. So part of what we did for this project is we conducted the surveys for the plants at the ideal times to identify them. We collected some incidental observations of your dragonflies and damselflies. Those are a little bit harder to do plant studies for, so we tried to just grab as much data as we could while we were out there. And we did conduct one nighttime survey, just a visual inspection, to see if we could find any tiger salamanders in the right-of-way on the south side of Long Pond. There's a vernal pool located over there that DEC has listed as a known pond that is productive for tiger salamanders. So what did we find? We were a little disappointed to only find spotted salamanders. Again, it was only one visit. That doesn't mean that tiger salamanders are not there. It just means during that visit we only found spotted. But there was a really nice, healthy population of spotted salamanders. So it is a productive vernal pool, which is indicative of the health of that vernal pool and the overall habitat in the surrounding area. We were also fortunate enough to positively identify 7 of the 26 listed plants. We found the creeping St. John's wort, hyssop hedge nettle, rose coreopsis, tall beetrush, the globe-footed seed box, and long-beaked spike rush. And all those photos up there represent the different plants that we found, and we had mapped all of their locations. And again, this is indicative of the fact that there was even this much diversity in the 3 visits we were able to do is really indicative of the health of this ecosystem overall.
Okay, so just going into some of the recommendations that are in the plan at kind of a high level and looking over some of the things we spoke about. When it comes to managing aquatic plants, looking at Phragmites, there are certainly areas where herbicide could be useful, but the majority of Long Pond and Little Long Pond, the cutting will work, as demonstrated by Cassidy. I think the biggest thing to keep in mind here is that these ponds undergo very great water level fluctuations. Is that the 12?
Yeah, we have 3 minutes worth.
Great water level fluctuations. You want to cut in the spring while the water levels are still high before it really dries up necessarily. And then monitoring. The reason I have this photo here is that this is a pretty rare invasive plant that I just found last week at a pond. There were 5 stems of it. So we're able to pull that out before it becomes an issue instead of it growing to the point where then you see it and it is a problem. So monitoring follow-up surveys are important for that. Water quality, tracking stuff over time. There's projects we've worked on where water quality data has informed beach closures prior to a harmful algae bloom, which I know this isn't a swimming location necessarily, but regardless. And then also, forming a watershed committee to kind of help with all these things and look at septic systems, monitor water quality, et cetera. Lastly, and here's just an image of the Phragmites areas where we delineated between where it would be appropriate to maybe use herbicides and where it's appropriate to use cutting, even splitting some of those polygons in the middle based on the depths that we found in the bathymetric map and survey there.
Can you explain the yellow and the blue?
Yes, so the yellow is actually the areas that we recommend for cutting, and the blue is for herbicide. So the blue on the northern end of Long Pond is a really, really dense area where there is not as many of the rare, threatened, endangered species that we found. So using herbicide there is a little bit more palatable, say, as compared to an area like on the east side of Little Long Pond where all that yellow is, where you want to be more selective and cut the Phragmites below the water line while the water level is still higher up earlier in the season.
Or I would say even that the little island on Little Long Pond actually hosted one of the rare, threatened, endangered species we found. Found it nowhere else. It was only on that little island. So targeting being more selective there with management.
At points last summer, you could have walked from the shoreline to the island because the
There's
water
a
level
duck
was so
blind
low.
on that island, right? Yeah.
So with that, thanks for, again, having us here. We're, excited to talk about it and happy to answer any questions.
So I guess I have one question then.
Sure.
To what degree could we utilize your group to look at other water bodies? Because there's a lot of, we oversee dozens, if not over 100 water bodies.
Of course.
The whole town. And, we've had groups come in here across the town asking us to help them and to support them. So
Right.
if we can reach out to you for other entities and work with other lake and pond groups, that would be fantastic, because we get calls weekly
Yeah.
about these things.
And I had a lengthy
So-
conversation with someone in particular about one of the ponds, and she passed away yesterday. And so,
Sorry to hear.
you know,
Sorry.
promised her we would do something.
Yeah.
So, I got that hanging over
Well,
my
and
head.
I guess to add to that, what is your experience with, and this one pond that Jim is referring to, has a lot of lily pads. What is your experience or your knowledge about that level of removal? We do have a DEC permit.
Yeah,
but
already.
What is your knowledge of dealing with that kind of invasive?
Sure. So, I mean, first off, yes, we'd be glad to work with any other ponds in the area, just knowing a lot of them are unique and
Yeah.
valuable. It's not just these two.
And do we reach out to you directly, or should we go through Jackie, or
Or have them reach out to you, or have
them reach out to you, or?
Well, I would be happy once, so we're like just doing like a peer
I
review
know.
right now
Yes,
of this.
yes,
We
when that's
had-
done.
Yeah, we
We
had a
have
review
further
session, but
discussions.
we'll share this with you.
Yeah, please.
Right.
Yeah,
Great.
and this has Luke's, contact information, but I
Great.
can also share,
Super.
his
I knew
contact
it would.
information with you
Thank
as well.
Jack. Great.
And I think probably the best thing, because you guys have so many ponds, would just be to put out a request for qualifications so that you
Yep.
can see if there's anyone else in the area. But they have been trusted, and just seeing who they've worked with, as you can see, they kind of have worked with LISMA in the past, and they're really true professionals. But I feel like that's kind of what the trustees need, which is why I was excited
Exactly.
to kind of share our findings with you today.
This is so
But also
timely.
introduce you with like
So
a
perfect.
qualified lake management consulting firm that can steer you. And, maybe you do a base study and they just qualify which ponds are at peril, which ponds are healthy right now, so that you guys can strategize which ponds you'd like to focus on. Because obviously taking in, concerns from residents is not always the best way to
Yeah.
address
Right,
which
exactly.
is most
Right.
critically
Right.
impaired.
That are
like
so
whack-a-mole.
vocal, and then
Right.
some that aren't, and we don't live on every
I think
single one.
that's like what or at least I feel like is even just learning how to prioritize these things so that we
Right.
know how to
Absolutely.
move forward. Like, what do we look for? How do we interpret that feedback and make it structurally so that we can
Right.
Of course.
effectively help?
We're also,
We want to focus on the ponds that need it most, not just the people that live on it that have the loudest voices.
We need, sometimes the loudest voices are the biggest problem. So,
one of the
yeah.
ways I think about the priorities right now is just like if they have a confirmed harmful algae bloom, and we have confirmed
Yeah.
harmful
Yeah.
algae blooms.
Good
it's-
sign.
Right.
It's usually a
For
good
a
sign.
way to mitigate that.
Sure.
Right.
Like, do you guys have strategies that you guys have been able to implement that actually have?
Yeah,
been
so we have
shown to work?
other lake managers and ecologists that work on, not just, I play with the plants, fish, and insects, but we have people that are experts with stormwater and rainwater management and all these other things to help dilute some of those other things.
And at the end of the day, I will say, it's yes, and I fully agree with my colleagues, that it's about taking care of the worst, but it's also about trying to mitigate possible problems on the road to not
Yes.
allow the ones that are
Right.
good to
Like,
go
we want to
bad.
be able
Yeah.
to get it before it becomes a
Proactive,
horrible
yeah.
problem, right? We want to be able
And
to
that's where-
recognize the symptoms or
Yeah,
whatever.
and that's where I think, us working together is amazing. When I look at things on the landscape scale and on a watershed basis, that's where you start your big picture planning, right? And that's what helps drive that prioritization. And then Luke is fantastic at helping to figure out, okay, now what are the techniques we can use once we figure out our priorities? So we really do enjoy kind of working collaboratively to get that,
I didn't realize for the Phragmites, you also have a herbicide that you use. I thought it was just cutting and very labor intensive. And
Yeah, so to answer your question too, have we looked at other areas of frag this dense before? Yes, and it's been managed with using all of the above techniques.
Yeah.
Because if you use herbicide, you want to use it only a couple of times. You don't want to be dependent on it. You want to get it to a point where you actually can cut it below the water line then.
Right.
And use those less, no pun intended again, invasive techniques to
Right.
remove it. To stress your point with monitoring too, looking at Little Long Pond, there haven't been any harmful algae blooms, but we could tell immediately, looking at this data that was recorded from the loggers and the nutrient concentrations that are in there, Little Long Pond is at risk for potential harmful algae blooms, looking at this information here. So that's the importance of monitoring and why we, recommend it long-term as well.
And then mitigation is another thing too.
Yes, the mitigation is another part of it. Yep.
Yeah. So thank you guys for coming today.
Yeah.
We definitely have to have more
Yeah,
conversations with
this
you,
is-
and we're excited to see,
was
look
very
at the
good.
whole
This is
plan.
really
and deep
timely
dive.
and much appreciated.
Again, thank you for having us. Lara and I could talk about this for probably too long, so we'd be glad to have more conversations,
This
you know.
is the first of many, I
Yeah,
hope.
this is,
Yeah.
you have the right audience here, so.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Jackie. It was
Thank you
nice
all.
meeting you.
It's nice to see you
We'll
all.
be in touch.
Thank you.
Thanks, Juliana.
And then we have
Be able to-
the Merchants Bay project.
Mauritius Bay.
Aaron. And the last one is
No
Alex,
go-go.
right?
No, go, go,
Okay.
okay. That was my
All
confusion.
right.
No, go, go.
Nice shirt.
Aaron, I'm glad you wore your good clothes for the hearing.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I took some liberties with the summertime, daytime meeting attire.
That's okay.
But since we're talking about oysters, I figured the fish were acceptable.
Going,
I'm here for the shirt.
going fishing afterwards, or just,
Can you just state your name for the record as well, Aaron?
Aram Tertunian, on behalf of the Mauritius Bay Project.
Did you guys get a chance to sign in?
Yes, I think.
You signed? Okay, great. Because we'll keep your contact.
Let me just double check to make sure mine.
Yeah, you're here.
It's on there. Email it.
This is for you.
Okay. No email.
Jess, did you get
Well,
one?
we can get it from Jackie, yeah.
Easy to get.
I want to thank this board for its long-term continued support of our project. We're entering our 14th year. We're super excited and motivated about what we have done and what we're going to do. The specific reason we're here today is to get permission from the board to use certain areas of the bay bottom, which this board has previously authorized us to do for our oyster planting. The situation is that as part of our growth as an organization, we have applied to the New York State DEC for a license to collect and possess shellfish. And in that process, they asked us to come to this board and get a letter of permission that we're allowed to use the bottom. So what I've done in my letter is to outline the areas that have been previously permitted. The first two are bay bottoms and Quantuck Bay that are associated with the Quantuck Beach Club. And I'm sorry, that's wrong. The first one is Quantuck Bay. There's a planting area right at the top of the, if you can go to the next page, please. Yeah, just at the top center right there, you can see those sand shoals. That is the area that we've been seeding for the last year. And we have 2 flupsies now at Village Quag Dock, producing about 100,000 oysters a year each. And so we chose that area because the sandbar exists because there's a good cross current there. And as we establish that bed, it's going to then spread the seed throughout the bay.
Makes sense.
And the second area is right around Swan Island. There's some nice areas just on the north side of the island that we've been seeding for about over a decade.
You're placing juveniles about this big?
About inch and a half, inch and 3/4 after we grow them out.
How many are you doing like per site?
This site has
Estimate.
this site has been getting the most, the Swan Island site, because we just started using the Quantuck Bay site in the past year. We got a grant through CPF for our second flupsy, and so that 100,000 is dedicated to the Quantuck Bay site.
What's been like the survival rate of them? Have you?
Where, it varies. Some years it's been as high as 85%,
Oh, great.
but some years it's been as low as 50. But the really key factor that we found is that we're getting natural reproduction. And that, we saw that about 3 years ago.
Wow.
So, our thesis here is that if we can establish the bed and they can naturally reproduce, they're gonna be making millions
Yeah.
more than we could
Wow.
ever grow.
Right.
Putting like any, just because Matt's next meeting, I know he's gonna ask, the shell bags, they're
No,
like
we haven't-
these like biodegradable bags
Yeah.
you put like cured oyster shells in.
Yeah, 'cause it's-
To
that's
do like
how
a
you
spat
really
on
build a
shell.
reef. It's
Well,
It's like build
yeah.
an oyster
Yeah.
reef.
We did one of those at the end of, I'm sorry, in the town of Brookhaven, I can't remember, Island something road. We had a lot of problems with that. The bags broke apart and everything just spilled out all over the place. And it was really hard to track what was going on. So what we found is by repeatedly planting in the same location, it's building its own reef.
Oh, cool.
That makes
And
sense,
that's,
that
you know,
makes
that's
sense,
really,
yeah.
that's why we chose oysters, because they become a keystone. When they do that, then everything's coming to that reef to feed.
Wow.
And everything that's feeding at that reef is gonna get eaten by something else. So, that was really, the point of creating.
Have you done like dives or had people like do
Yes.
dives around to see?
Every spring, we go out and survey the sites, and we'll have a report completed sometime in the next month or so, and happy to share that with you.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see that.
Yeah, it's really good. We learned, for example, at the Quantuck Bay site, we had seeded stuff a little too shallow in the first, actually, we've been doing it 2 years. A little too shallow in the first year, we found that they didn't survive as well, and the deeper ones did. So that's what we did last year, was to seed them deeper. Then we also have, in addition to those seeding areas, we have 4 other gardens, what we call gardens. And these are the floating cages that we anchor on the bottom. And they're exclusively tended to by kids that we recruit in the winter in the elementary and middle schools of the area. And then they adopt one of these gardens and they tend them by basically coming once a week to clean the cages so that the water can keep flowing and the food can keep coming to the oysters. So there's one at Quantuck Beach Club, there's one at the Suffolk County Overlook Beach, which, by the way, we're doing, what's that date? Oh, I forgot it. I think the 19th, we're gonna do our annual thing with Dime Bank at that site.
Of July?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I'll send that over to you.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
The third one is at the Picket Point side of Lashley Beach, which is, actually, we just had an event this past weekend where, and that's, again, you know, we raise, at each one of these gardens, about 10,000 oysters. And then the fourth one is a new one at 40 Basket Neck Lane. That's a private property that they've opened it up to us to do a garden. So, the specific,
That's a new site for this year, or
Yeah.
was this covered by the previous letter of permission?
it's new to me, let's put it that way. I hadn't seen this one before I got it, so.
Roughly
I don't
half.
think- I'm sorry?
Roughly, Aaron, how far off the property is this site gonna be?
It's probably, 50 feet, 70 feet, extends into the bay. It's it's just waiting
I
down.
just see a lot of docks and just.
How many cages are they about, you said?
Um,
Oyster gardens?
So there's usually about 10 strands with about between 5 and 8 cages on a strand, and we usually put 100 or 200 oysters in each cage.
Great.
It's interesting because they start out all in one cage, but they grow so fast you have to
Yeah.
move them out.
Just my one concern was that if, I see quite a few docks here and wanted to interview with any boat traffic, any issue with that, so.
Well, it would be, directly in front of that property and not extending any farther than that dock.
Okay.
So,
And they're submerged, so they would have buoys?
yeah,
Yeah,
they're actually, they
marked
float.
off.
They float?
Okay,
They're float,
okay.
okay.
Colorful floats on them.
Okay.
That's the basket deck site is the new?
Yeah.
Okay. How far off from Swan Island is the plantings?
They're really kind of close to the shore, if we can go back up, please.
Yeah.
You can see that band, right about where that arrow is, that whole, right along that whole reach right there.
I'm gonna go check that out.
Yeah.
Wow.
And someday I'd like to move on to that flat that's adjacent to it, right in there, because
Yeah.
that's also a really good area.
Don't you get beat up in the wintertime over there? Because it gets rough over there.
It's rough, but we've done great there.
Yeah.
How are they washing, like, they do it all winter?
No, because everything comes out in September.
Oh, okay.
And what happens with the gardens is because they grow more slowly, we have to actually harvest all of them in the fall, and we take them up to Cornell's facility in Cedar Point, where they overwinter them, because we have to grow
Okay.
them for 2 seasons in order for them to be big enough.
Right.
Whereas with the Flupsies, because they're constantly getting the algae, we can grow them out in 1 season. But we did 750,000 oysters last year, and we're over 4 million to date. Wow. And that doesn't account for any, natural recruitment. So, this board has been tremendously supportive, as has the Cornell Cooperative Extension, without whom we could not do what we do. They provide us with incredible technical assistance. They're an integral part of our public outreach, which is, and now we've partnered with the Village of West Hampton Beach, where we have a Flupsy there, and the Village of Quogue, where we have 2, and we've also got some in Brookhaven. So we're trying to cover all of Mauritius Bay.
Great. Thank you.
So what we're looking for, and I'm sure that your attorney will advise you the proper language, but I just, on page 5, I just, pulled out a paragraph.
Anita Rezzo just authorized Jimmy to sign, but I'll be able to work off this.
Okay, terrific.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, I think it's great what you guys are doing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And they are actually able to reproduce.
It's amazing.
Great.
Yeah,
It's
well, that
incredible.
was the key. If we couldn't
Yeah.
get that done.
Then you're finished.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
right.
Is Cornell able to use some of your stuff for the purposes of breeding and stuff, or?
No, because ours never leave. They always.
Well, the ones that you said that they overwinter
Oh,
at
they
Cedar Point.
overwinter? I don't know what they do with those, actually.
Okay.
But if they can, they will. They're
I
quite,
mean,
they're quite creative
It's
over
a great
there.
exchange in terms of, you're giving them stock, and they're giving you expertise to help get the stock, so.
And we want to revive, in the coming year, we're going to revive our Spat-on Shell program, which it's a little more complicated, but we can, because we basically take the old shells, and then as the spat is growing in the vat, you throw the shells in there, and they adhere to it, and you'll get a dozen or so on each shell, so you can hit huge numbers when you do that. So that's, we're just really thrilled, Laura and I, and Dwight Sergan, our senior scientist, and we've got a really great crew of volunteers, and we're just real happy about what's going on.
Great.
So,
Do you have an extra copy for Jackie? Because she's here.
We have one here.
I see it's emailed to you, so.
Thank you for helping us out. So, appreciate your time.
Thank you so
and,
much.
Fascinated with the invasive species and the
Yeah, wasn't it?
limnology.
Wasn't it?
That was a
They were great.
Pretty exciting. I don't think it's all that boring with limnology.
No.
Pretty good stuff.
Aaron?
Thank you, Aaron.
Resolution
Thank you.
on for the next meeting, which is August 3rd.
Great. Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you. Oh, we're passing them
Prepared a
down.
walk-on for today.
Everyone get one?
Oh, for
She's
prepared a
quite a-
walk-on for today
it's
for
for
this.
today.
Yes.
She's quite
Oh, for
efficient, let me
this?
tell you.
Yes.
Oh, good, all right.
Wow.
Just the letter.
guys, today, welcome.
Okay.
Do you have an extra, Jess?
Just that fast, just that easy.
Here, yeah.
Have it, Jessica.
You have more?
I prepared it on Friday, not today.
She's amazing. Do we just,
I guess you.
Well, we'll do it at the end.
Got it, thank you.
It's part of our.
she wanted us
Okay,
to
sure,
do it now.
good, perfect.
I think we have to do it at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The rest of the stuff.
in exec.
No, not
No,
an
it's-
exec, at the end of it then.
Oh, okay. Aren't we at the end?
Application for permits.
No, because we have to go through all the
Public
rest.
comment.
We have to have
Right.
public hearings and then public
Only a
portion.
couple of them.
Yeah, this will be pretty quick.
The language works for me.
Okay, all right.
So Jimmy, we just need a
Aaron?
motion to close
You're getting
discussions.
both a reso and a letter signed today, so
All right. I
no
couldn't ask
waiting for
more than that.
August.
Thanks very much.
We have public comment.
We have to
Yes.
close
We're
discussions, though,
gonna
right?
close, yes, a motion to close discussions and
Second
open the public portion, seconded by Trustee Parsons, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And on to.
Public hearing, no, public hearings.
Public hearings.
Do you have any?
Anyone? Anyone on Zoom?
No.
No,
that's
public hearings, we
portion.
don't have.
Yeah.
Public portion would be next.
Yeah, so the-
Anyone in the audience wish to address the board for up to 3 minutes?
Anybody on Zoom?
Ma'am,
Charlotte? Yeah. Anybody, nobody on, okay, so.
James?
Do I need to make another motion?
Yes.
Motion to close the public hearings and
Oh.
portions and move on to,
Second.
seconded by trustee Parsons, all in favor?
Aye.
And moving on to applications for permits.
All right, looks like I have the first one. I have trustee 2026-0223. Wait, okay. Second renewal application, Alec Culver, 6 Beaver Dam Road, West Hampton, New York, tax map 900-376-1-36.1 on Beaver Dam Creek. Could I get a second for this, please?
Second.
Seconded by trustee McLaughlin, all in favor?
Aye.
I have, resolution,
Wait, hold on,
sorry.
Oh,
I'm not quite done
he's
yet.
not, he has another one.
Sorry.
I'm just confused, how come, like,
Yeah, it's not in order. I'm
Oh, no.
getting,
this one didn't have a little blurb?
We'll just go,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so I have trustee, 2026-218, third renewal application of
Yeah.
Stephen F. Harwin, 7 Bay Meadow
Okay,
Lane,
got
West
it.
Hampton, New York, tax map 900-382-1-17.17 on Sandpepper Canal. Can I get a second?
I'll
for this, please?
second that, seconded by my, trustee Mack, and all in favor?
Aye. I
Aye.
have resolution 2026-0222. This is first renewal application for Village of Southampton, for Old Town Pond, Southampton, New York, number 900, sorry, not 904-29-1-12. Can I have a second on that one?
A second.
Seconded by trustee Topping, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also have a next one, just resolution 217 of 26. This is application of Peter M. Roglin,
Roglin?
10 Lanson Lane, Tuckahoe, New York, subsequent number 900-155-2-8. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by trustee Topping, all in favor?
Aye.
I have the next one, subsequent, resolution 0-10. This is first renewal application for Craig Sinensky at 142 Tower Point Road. No, see, this is number 900-59-1-45. Can I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Quick discussion, isn't this what, because, wasn't just, changed to different owner?
Excuse me?
Wasn't that today?
Which, what are we talking about?
Oh,
Tab
maybe,
one.
was that
No.
change of deed? No, that was,
Wasn't it?
wait a minute.
Is it?
142 Town Point Road was on for
Yeah,
today.
so
And
was-
it was advanced,
So should this be postponed because it's a different name?
yes, actually, it should be,
Yeah, right?
Sorry.
all right, so what you should do is table.
I'll make a motion to table this resolution until next meeting.
Wait, hold on.
Is
It
it,
was
this
just
is
an
the one,
application to change the name, I thought.
yeah, this is the one where they're gonna give us a copy of the
Yeah.
deed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so,
This is just a renewal.
But shouldn't it be renewed under the new, under
In
the
a new
new
name?
name?
it really would be better if we had the deed, but we don't absolutely need it. We can issue it subject, we can pass this and hold
It should
the,
be modified first and then
it should be,
renewed.
yeah, that's what we agreed, so.
There is a
Okay, we'll hold
renewal
it.
in it, it should just modify.
Because you're gonna have to change the name of the owner on this, it's not gonna be Mr.
Craig
Shesky
Shesky.
anymore.
Right.
So,
So I'll make a
table
motion,
it,
Approve the modification at the next meeting.
yeah,
I'll make a motion.
then we can do it, we can recall this and from the table that way.
So I'll make a motion to table resolution 210 of 26. I have a second.
I'll second.
Seconded by trustee Topping, I will abstain, and everybody else? Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. This is, Next, this is Resolution 221 of 26. This is first renewal application for Village of Southampton for the Boylston Road culvert. This is Southampton tax 900-31-1 by water Taylor's Creek. Can I have a second? This is just to inform the board. This was an application made, I believe, before the three of you on the board to restore the bulkhead there that was it's in the culvert.
Oh, okay,
By Taylor
okay,
Creek.
okay. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
second that.
I'll,
Seconded by trustee Mack, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This is trustee resolution 2026-0216, application of Patrick Duffy and Charlize Lee Trust, 28 Coral Drive, Shinnecock Hills, New York, Suffolk County Tax Block number 900-234-3-24, body of water Shinnecock Bay. I'm gonna have a motion to advance this.
Second.
Seconded by trustee McLaughlin, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee resolution 2026-0214, recall and amend number 2026-0202, application of Cold Mountain LLC, 16 Sandringham Lane, Shinnecock Hills, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-271-1-48.3, body of water, Shinnecock Bay. I'll have a motion to advance this.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Seconded by trustee Parsons, all in favor?
Aye.
And this one's good the way it stands?
Yeah, the permit number was incorrect on the renewal,
Right.
so it was the different permit.
Okay, but it's big.
Yeah, so
Okay,
everything was
good, good.
Okay, I have trustee 2026-0213, notice of public hearing for William Honeycutt, 62 Laurel Lane, Sag Harbor, tax map number 900-26-1-79 in Little Long Pond, keeping on theme. I will move to adopt this.
And I'll
please.
second that. And seconded by trustee Mack, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2026-0211, first modification for Rebzac Realty LLC, 74 Ferry Road, Village of North Haven, tax map number 901-6-5-51, body of water is Great Pond Creek. I will move to adopt this.
Second that.
Seconded by trustee Parsons, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
Trustee 2026-0212, notice of public hearing for Oksana Lashko, 12 Bayview Drive East, tax map number 900-9-2-21, body of water is Sag Harbor Cove. I will move to adopt this as
Second.
well.
Seconded by trustee McLaughlin, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Sure, yeah, Matt.
Matt,
back to Matt.
Oh, okay. Trustee 2026-220, authorized payment to Williamson Law Book Company for minute books. Can I get a second for this,
Oh, I'll
please?
second that.
Alright.
All in favor, seconded by trustee Mack, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
You're up,
Waive the fee, oh, yes. Trustee, 2026-0219, resolution authorizing the Board of Trustees to waive the 2026 trustee event permit application fee of $800 for the Southampton Yacht Club for an event they're having.
I will second that.
Seconded by trustee McLaughlin, all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
So,
Trustee 2026-224, resolution authorizing the president to sign a letter of authorization granting permission to engage in Phragmites removal with Long Island Invasive Species Management Area, LISMA. I will move to adopt this.
I'll second that.
Seconded
you.
by
yeah.
trustee O'Farrell, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Back to me. I have trustee 2026-225, warrant number 11. The total amount for this warrant is $310,309.50. I'm gonna read the register out. We've got Be Ready Fish Bean Hatter for $3,703.13. Corzini Asphalt for $285,000. Joseph R. Lombardo for $12,600.
That's for 2 months.
That's for 2 months, yeah. Okay, that's for, we got James Olivo for $2,500, PSEG for $60.85.
Wow.
South Shore Docks for $6,132.31. WB Mason Company, Inc. for $313.21, for a total of $310,000. I'm sorry, $310 and $309 $1,000.50.
Second.
Seconded by trustee McLaughlin. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to accept the walk-on, for the walk-on.
I'll second.
Second,
It's yours, Jimmy, it's your resolution.
oh, right. And how do we do that? We just,
So we already did the motion to walk on, so Jimmy, I just need you to read the resolution to the record and.
didn't you just hand that to me?
Yeah.
Here,
I immediately lost it. Oh, my God. Trustee 2026-0226 resolution authorizing the president to sign a letter of permission for the Merchants Bay project, and for what we just discussed. Do I have a second for that?
I'll second it.
Seconded by trustee Pal O'Farrell. All in favor?
Aye.
That completes our agenda.
That completes our agenda. At this time, I would like to entertain a motion to close the work session and then.
The regular.
You guys are going into the town attorney's office, aren't you?
Yes, we do, but that's a two.
We need to go
2:30.
back into exec.
Do we go back into exec
Yes, we
after that?
do. We need to go back into exec,
How did you leave so much time?
please. I know.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Well, we have,
I'm impressed.
Turn off your pot.
So,
I'll second that.
second that.
You get the
Thank
gavel
you.
down.
Second.
Right.
All in favor?
Sarah's gonna
All in
second.
favor?
Excellent.